Okay, so Fulham have their fourth match on Saturday as we look to make it 2 wins from 2 down at the Amex. It's our first game outside of London, but it's not too far for the Fulham faithful to travel as we go to the Amex Stadium to face Brighton. It's going to be a difficult test though. Brighton are very, very strong at home, got 29 of their 40 points last season at the Amex, so we'll have our work cut out to make it consecutive wins. I'm joined now by George Issacs from Brighton Fan TV to give us a bit of a lowdown on Brighton on Saturday. George, how's it going, mate?
Oh, guys, yeah, not bad this evening, not bad.
Good stuff, mate. Well, let's talk through your start to the season. Lost 2, won 1, but that victory was a very impressive 3-2 victory over Man United, fully deserved from Brighton. Bit disappointing, I guess, to lose to Watford on the opening day, but you must be fairly pleased with how things have gone so far.
I mean, yeah, we're pretty pleased. I mean, it proves that the beating Man United last season wasn't a fluke. To do it twice, you've got to have a game plan. The Watford loss was disappointing. I mean, there's 2 camps in the Brighton fan base. It's either a really disappointing loss where that's going to sort of affect us at the end of the season, or first game of the season, you write it off. I mean, Watford were relegation favourites before the start of the season, so I don't know, it's a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but we just got completely outplayed that day. Outplayed, and we didn't work together. A complete opposite of what we played against Man United and even against Liverpool.
Yeah, how are you finding the Premier League experience? It's your second season in the top flight. I'm from quite near to Brighton originally, so I kind of always saw what a sleeping giant it was. I went to the Wivdean several times when I was a kid, and it was such a terrible place to watch football. But as soon as you got the Amex, it seemed like a matter of time before Brighton got themselves to the Premier League, and there's such a huge catchment area. It's your second season though in the top flight. How are you finding it as a fan? Are you enjoying it still? Is the novelty still kind of there?
It's a little bit less nervy than last season. Last season was really nervy. And there was a couple of moments where it was a bit in the balance of will we make it through. This season it feels a lot more settled. Even in just our first 3 games, I think seeing the maturity as well, we've developed really well since last season. Just in terms of style of play, the game plans, a lot more expansive play. Last season we were playing a lot of games, especially against top half of the table, where we put in 11 men behind the ball. So it's nicer to see a different style of football start to come through. It was almost a sacrifice. We sort of sacrificed watching exciting football for that first season to then get it this season.
So there has been a bit of an adaptation over the summer. You still don't necessarily retain a huge amount of possession. Chris Hughton's not known for his really free-flowing attacking football, but are you starting to see signs that side of Brighton's game is growing?
I'd say definitely. I think the key difference is Knockhart's having a little bit more freedom to run. Last season, I mean, he didn't have a great season last season. He played well in a couple of games, and especially the big games as well. Man United at the end of the season absolutely worked that game, absolutely bossed it, turning Luke Shaw inside out. But last season, he wasn't really given that freedom to run as he did in the Championship. It doesn't really work when you're taking 2-3 players on at a time in the Premiership.
Yeah.
And we've just sort of started to see him playing that way again, starting to make those runs, which suits him much, much better. Last season, it was a lot more defensive duties of if you're going up, you're doing it on the counter. Rest of the time, you're going back and you're playing almost as a wing back.
Talk us through your home form at the Amex. It was what saved you last season. It was mightily impressive, the amount of points that you got at home. Are you expecting to be that to be the fulcrum of your survival hopes again this season?
I think it is, and I think we almost laid down a marker when Man United came.
Yeah.
I mean, nearly every home game was sold out last season, bar a couple. The waiting list for season tickets is 7,000 long.
Wow.
So it's like that every week it is packed out, and there is an atmosphere there. Last season we only lost 4 times at home.
Yeah.
And that was Man United, Spurs, Chelsea and Leicester.
Okay.
And the only team that really turned us over was Liverpool.
Okay.
They're the only ones that really did us inside out. And that was 5-1. Other than that, it is a fortress. There is a fortress. I mean, even if we're not going to win, we're going to make it as hard as possible for you to win.
Yeah. Talk us through David Button. He made his debut in the Carabao Cup last night. He kind of split opinion amongst Fulham fans. How did he do? Obviously, it was an unfortunate defeat to Southampton. The goal I saw, I didn't think it was really him to blame. But what did you think?
You didn't see the play beforehand.
Okay.
I think he split opinion here as well. He looked nervy.
Okay.
About 10 minutes before the goal went in, the ball's come back to him. He just completely missed. He swung to kick it and missed. Just completely missed. And it was only a defender on the line stopped the poaching goal. And he looked rattled. He looked really rattled from there, a bit nervy. And I mean, I laughed because in our post-match review, I said that I was more nervous about the fact that he was going to have to try and save penalties, being nervous, and then bang, the goal goes in 88th minute. But we're sort of relying on him a bit because Matt Ryan's got to go play in the Asian games. So Button is going to be our number one keeper for a bit while he's gone. Am I fully confident in him yet? No.
Well, I was going to say there was a large section of the Fulham support that wasn't that gutted to see him leave. But actually, I thought on his day he was actually quite a good shot stopper. Sometimes his distribution let him down, but ultimately he just couldn't get past Marcus Bettinelli, who was just kind of infallible in goal towards the end of last season during Fulham's promotion campaign. Talk us through a few of your players then. You mentioned Anthony Knockaert, who is a fantastic player who's done well for you for so many years. You've got Glenn Murray, the old warhorse up front, who got himself a goal against Man United. I've always been quite a big fan of Pascal Gross, mostly for the amount of points he gets my fantasy team.
Yeah, he's going to be... They're essentially going to be our big players tomorrow. I mean, Gross in the cup game yesterday, we ended up playing him in like a central defensive midfield role that really, really didn't suit him. It was just completely didn't work. I mean, he is the main creator of our goals. Murray's in good form still. I still think he looks sharp. And especially in those big games, his hold-up play is exceptional. If we're winning and if it's a small margin, you can guarantee lump the ball up to Murray and you'll hold on to it, drawing fouls, laying the ball off. It is really needed. And I'd say he's still our number one choice. Knockaert, again, on his day, he can carry the team through. I mean, the only worry is our centre-back, Duffy and Dunker, are two rocks.
Yeah. And
Dunker's out injured at the moment. Okay. So we've got our new defender, Balogun, coming in to fill in. But he played so exceptional against Man United. I just don't think it's a worry for me.
Any other players that Fulham fans should potentially look out for? What about your new signing the guy signed in the summer, Ali Reza Bakash? If I pronounced his name correctly.
Well, again, there's split between the Brighton fans. Jury's out. He played in the cup game yesterday, and he wasn't exceptional. But they've admitted that he is rusty at the moment. He's not up to full fitness. He's been at the World Cup and he's come back and he's not in the full stride of things. And he looks a bit off the pace. I can't see him starting. Especially when Knockaert's in form. And Knockaert's desire is pretty great at the moment. I mean, he's fighting for his place and he's playing like he's fighting for his place. In terms of the other new sign, Locadia we signed last season. I can't see him taking Glenn Murray's place because, again, he's playing exceptional. Our new big signing, who I'm really excited about, is Basuma. And it'll be interesting whether he starts tomorrow. It's going to be Saturday. It's going to be interesting whether he starts on Saturday. It's a 50-50. But he's really exciting, like a really good box-to-box midfielder, quick footwork. Loves to break through with his runs, and he's only 21. He's got a lot of room to grow.
Okay, George, how do you think it's going to go on Saturday? Last game before the international break. We're both on 1 win each, so it's finally poised going into the game. What's your prediction?
I'm going to go 3-1 Brighton, but I think your goal will be Mitrovic, and I think it'll be a set piece.
Okay. Do you see it being like a close game throughout and maybe it will kind of nick it at the end, or do you think it's going to be fairly comfortable for you?
I'm hoping we shell shock you in the first 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Like in your first few home games, I think that's the tactics that's worked best. If we can sort of put it on you early, high press, nip a goal. But set pieces seem to be our undoing. And Mitrovic has got great strength for set pieces, and I could see that being your main threat.
And if fans are heading down to Brighton on Saturday, we've been there a couple of times now, but it's still a new ground for many. What's your advice for away fans? I know transport's not always the easiest.
I think just enjoy yourself. The train has been up and down recently because they've got rid of a couple of park and rides. So the amount of people going into Brighton station's quite a lot at the moment. So I'd give yourself time. But it's a nice day out. Like Brighton's a nice place to go. Just grab a good pint at the stadium. There's good food and it's a friendly atmosphere as well. You're not going to get any trouble down at Brighton. It's all really relaxed. Just have a chat with fans. It'll be a nice day.
Well, George, thank you for chatting to us today. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. Always a decent away day. Thank you for chatting to Fulhamish.
No, thank you for having me, Sammy. Thank you.
Pleasure.